In this video I'm doing a brake overhaul on my Citroen XM. Got all these goodies to fit. Got a new caliper slider, I think that's probably the problem, it's been causing a binding caliper. New pads and very heavy new discs. And I'm having to do the work outside because this thing seems to have taken over my garage. So when working on the car, if you've got to remove a wheel, first thing you do is undo the nuts before you jack the car up. So all I've done is just crack the wheel nuts off, and now I can jack the car up. Got my axle stand at the ready, and I'm jacking up on the subframe where it bolts to the car, a nice strong thing. I'll do nothing. Incidentally, have a bit of cardboard, or in my case an old camping mat to kneel on. Takes the strain off your knees, and as these camping mats are absolutely crap for sleeping on, it's nice to actually have a use for them. The problem we can see here is that this boot has torn. You shouldn't be able to see that metal slider there. This is the slider I'm going to replace it with, because that one's got some signs of rust on, and I also need new boots to cover it up and make sure it stays covered and protected. That slider is what this part moves back and forth on to squash the pad against the disc. I've also got a really strong wear lip across there, and these pads are very unevenly worn. So I'm now going to dismantle the caliper so I can replace the slider here. This is a Citroen caliper, which means the handbrake is on the front. That's what this is, that's the handbrake cable which operates this lever. So to undo the caliper, first of all I've got to undo the locking bolts so I can pull that cable free. Incidentally, that's a classic problem on these cables. You can see the coating has started to break away. So really I could probably do with new handbrake cables. I'm going to do my best just to get some oil in there to make sure everything's moving freely, because the handbrake is very poor on this side. With the handbrake cable removed and now stowed away up here, I can turn my attention to removing that circlip so I can push this bar out which holds the caliper in the down position. Once that's free I can pull this up and remove the pads. And you can see the problem almost immediately here. Very uneven pad wear, because the caliper has not been pressing equally on these two pads. So now I'm undoing the slider, which is an 8mm hex head or Allen key, and slowly it's coming undone. I have some twine to hand which I will use to tie up the caliper to stop the weight hanging on this brake hose here. You don't want the weight hanging on that, you could end up destroying the hose if you're not careful. Then I've got to remove the caliper mount, then I can get the discs off, and then I can put new discs and pads on. Now the most annoying thing about working on a car is getting sent the wrong bits, and that's happened yet again. There's a distinct size difference between these two. So thank you eBay for sending me the wrong bloody parts. I'm going to have to try and clean this slider up, hope the new boots will fit, and then hope that'll do the job. With the old pin out I can now see what was causing the problem. You can see it's particularly badly worn just there. So effectively that's seizing it against one side of the caliper, so it's only activating on the other bit, the bit that can still slide. So I don't know what to do now. I think I'm just going to have to clean that up as best I can and refit it just to get the car back in use again, and then I'm going to have to try and get hold of the right sized pin. Infuriating. I've now given this a pretty good clean up, but you can still see the problem right there. That's now nice and smooth. Chances are it's not going to be an awful lot of cop on the car, so I shall have to order another one. I'll just refit this for now, lube it up and hope for the best. Can I just say that cars that have wheel bolts instead of wheel nuts are a pain. Getting this wheel back up. It's a right game. And before we call that failed job complete, out with the wheel brace to tighten the nuts. Now the car is off the track. Not a very exact science, but my reckoning is if I do it as tight as I can with that, that's probably going to be good enough. Don't do it up with the bar extended because there's a good chance you'll never get the sodding things undone again. And it's just a wheel trim to go. And that failed job is complete. I will now go for a test drive and then I'll retorque those nuts. Join me again on a future episode when I might actually get this job finished. Bye for now.